If you're honestly, truly helping people and helping them make a decision that's in their own best interest, you don't have to guilt them into buying anything.
Welcome to Modern Entrepreneur. Today we have Kersten, who is the founder and CEO of Quantifying, which is a transformational business coaching program. She's also the co-founder of the online course platform Summit Evergreen. Over the years, she's built a reputation as the behind-the-scenes strategic consultant responsible for sustainable, rapid growth of personality-based businesses and attributes her tireless work ethic to being raised on a dairy farm. I feel like an announcer. That was awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
When was the last time you milked a cow?
Oh my goodness, that has been a long time. I most recently have milked a goat. And when I was living in Tennessee, I'm in Austin.
Did it come right back to you?
Yes, just like riding a bike.
Oh man.
Just one of those things you don't
forget. Once you know how to do
yeah.
it, you don't forget. So apart from milking dairy animals, what would you say is your unique skill set?
Oh gosh, it's been so long since I milked a cow, but unique skill set. So I have a specialty in being able to look at things and pull them apart and put them back together differently. And then in that, my art is a lot of times in process and how things work. So whether that's something business-wise, whether it's something in somebody's marketing, whether it's in the way that they talk to their customers and the customer experience, I have a knack for being able to see the experience start to finish and then find ways to help improve it.
Improve the experience, improve the process.
Experience,
so you're kind of a tinkerer.
Yes, yeah.
You feel that way.
That might be hard to sell though. I'm a tinkerer.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So you tinker with businesses and basically help them improve their marketing, the marketing experience they're delivering, and then the experience they're delivering as in their products.
Most of the people that I work with have some kind of legacy that they're trying to create.
Legacy.
So they're trying to do something in the world. They're trying to teach people. They're trying to help them do something, whether that's somebody who's in leadership, whether it's somebody in personal growth, let's help master your mindset, whether it's somebody, hey, let's help get your kids into college.
Right.
They're doing something, so I like to work with people that are doing good in the world. And so then we go in and we look at, most of the time they're reaching their audience and how do you market and with integrity and market with ethics and market where you don't have somebody feeling guilty that they should buy this.
Right.
I don't subscribe to the whole Southern Baptist methodology of marketing.
I don't know about that one.
Really?
No.
So I lived in Nashville for a long time, so I have a lot of Southern Baptist friends. But they do a good revival and they have this big tent, everybody comes, it's a great party, and then it's like, you must do this or you're gonna go, straight to hell. Yeah. And they don't say party in hell, they say burn in hell.
Burn in hell, right.
Right? But I know so many marketers and so many businesses that are out there that give our business of digital marketing, online marketing a bad name because they subscribe to that philosophy. And really, if you're honestly, truly helping people and helping them make a decision that's in their own best interest, you don't have to guilt them into buying anything.
Sure. So what is working for you and your clients right now that's the latest thing?
The latest thing is super, super, super fun, exciting, and it's actually going to take email marketing off the map long term. Off the map long term.
Okay, good.
So actually doing some work with bots and using Facebook Messenger bots to actually reach people's inboxes. As in their messenger inbox instead of their email inbox.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be the latest and greatest. And I'm super excited to take some of that and start integrating it. My software that does online course creation, Summit Evergreen. We have people that do a lot of follow-up with your students. Hey, you're learning this, and we're used to sending them email messages. But then the question becomes, can you teach somebody something more effectively if you're reminding them via messenger or via text? Hey, go, watch this video, go learn this. Did you do your homework? Those type of things. So there are going to be just tons of fun things coming because do you like to open your email?
I'm not a big fan of email.
Yeah. And if you start asking people that, it's really crazy because like I used to love email, but it's not like you've got mail anymore. Like
No, it's not. But you honestly imagine a future in which we'll be like living in Facebook as opposed to our Gmail boxes?
if Facebook has their way with it, yeah, I think there's going to end up being segments, and I think it's something that's going to be very generational and very much driven by the function of somebody's business. So I'm still, Generation X. I'm 41. So like I remember a world without email. Like I remember being in college and having Google like be released, and it was revolutionary because it was so different from Yahoo as a search engine. But then when you start to talk to today's teens, they think of email like we think of regular postal mail, like, so what, there's something there occasionally, but they interact with the world in small snippets. I mean, it's not just, it's gone from a delayed gratification society to an instant gratification society to an immediate. Like you text somebody and it's like, wait, why didn't you text me back?
Right, immediately.
And like my mom doesn't text.
Right.
My mom doesn't even have an iPhone where she's, checking everything on her phone. But if you talk to somebody who has teenagers, one of my friends was fussing the other day. He has a phone bill over $500 every month. You've got 3 kids, mom, dad, kids, everybody's got phones, everybody's got plans. They're not worried about email, they're worried about messaging, they're worried about apps, etc. So it's not going to go completely away, but it's not going to be kind of the easy way to reach people that it has been.
Interesting. So in your own business, what is the kind of like cutting edge, what are you learning about in growing your own business right now?
Gosh, growing my own business, the thing I've learned the most probably in the last 4 months, as I've gone from just strictly doing consulting to actually, launching lots of other information products for other people, to creating my own online course. So I have a course called Simple Launch where we're taking people through the product launch process. But no matter how well you think you know something, like you can be in a process, but until you've actually walked a mile in that person's shoes, you really just can't imagine it. And learning is hard. And like sometimes we get so used to doing whatever it is we're doing, we forget how hard it is to learn.
How hard it was when we learned it, even.
Yeah, and so for me personally, like in the last few months, that's been learning to step into that place of being the expert or the authority and writing and creating content there versus just like randomly having conversations with other people. So going into that space and learning that particular role in the business has been challenging.
Yeah, really being a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? Simplifying ideas, remembering what it's like to be a beginner.
There's such an art to it. Like we all get so deep in the rabbit hole and we forget, wait, some people don't even know that the rabbit hole exists.
Right. Yeah, interesting. So if you think back to, when you started your business and you could give yourself, if you could kind of like fly back there in time and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh gosh, the advice would be about balance. So I think so many people chase balance, like you in society in general. And then you've got the entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are successful because they don't believe in balance. Everybody who's been super successful in growing a business fast that I've known, or in doing amazing things, like you get obsessive over it. And like crazy ex-girlfriend obsessive, like to the, I'm gonna do nothing else.
I can't stop thinking
I'm gonna
about
do this. Oh yeah, this is going on. No, this is what it is. This is what it is. And like at the end of the day, like that obsession is great, but learning to control it and put a little bit more balance in there so that when you're in those really tough space with where you're doing all the growth and things are happening so fast, to actually find ways to unplug. So don't stop being obsessive, but be super obsessive, take a break. Be super obsessive, take a break.
And that would have helped you?
Because it recharges you. Because if you get burnt out, it's done. You're screwed. Like you can't unburn yourself out. Or like if you know ways to, you've gotten burnt out, yes? Different times?
It's, crossed my mind.
So like if you really get to people where you give them a few beers, you're at a party and you ask them, like, the majority of the folks that are entrepreneurs have gone through burnout. And what happens on the flip side of burnout is, in order to bounce back up and get out of it, you got to hit some kind of a bottom. So like, whether that, and everybody does it differently. So it's like you go from being like super productive to less productive, and then more, and then less. But if you can find a way to kind of even keel that a little bit more with some balance, making sure you know who your friends are, where you're spending your time, where you're having fun, and actually like scheduling it in. It just would make, like, if I could have done that 6 years ago when I switched from the corporate world to the entrepreneurial world, I probably would have had a much more even ride.
Right. Because it is kind of like the long game, whether you like it or not, huh?
Yeah.
The overnight success thing is not super common.
Not super common, and really, even when you dive into it, there's always a story behind the story. I mean, it's even like the one-hit wonders. So being in Nashville, country music, Taylor Swift, it was like, oh my goodness, Taylor Swift came out of nowhere. She's so amazing. And it's like, wait, how many of her first records did her daddy buy? It's like, do a little research. It's like there's a story that the media sees, and it's so easy to compare ourselves to that and think that should happen for us, rather than realizing, like, most of the time there is a lot of actual, like, real hard work. Sometimes a little bit of luck, but most of the folks that make it do it because they show up consistently day after day and do the work, not just dream about it.
To kind of play that long game, do the marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And so heading the other way in time, towards the end of your career, what do you imagine your legacy will be?
So I really like to think about, like, when people think of me and remember me, I want them to remember the way that I treat people. Because I believe everybody is valuable. Like, all life, whether it's human, non-human, all life has value. And it's so easy as we get stuck into our businesses to, get focused on something and forget about the people that we interact with, forget about the people that we impact, forget about the people that we employ. I've got some folks that have been working for me for over 4 years. That touches me at a deeper level because I want to be a good boss. I want to create a business that then has the impact where, their kids love their lives because mom has a good job, because dad has a good job. And so then you don't have to go into the world with everybody thinking, oh, you have to hate your job, or sell your soul. Absolutely. Or you just have to, like, suck it up and do this for money. There should be a way to create some happiness while you're creating legacy, and, like, help people feel better about working and about earning a living, and just really living life. Because if we're all happier, it just makes the world a better place. Nobody likes a grouch.
Nobody likes a grouch.
At least not me. And I can be grouchy like the next person, but if you can make somebody laugh, make them smile, brighten their day, it just pays off for everyone.
So, modern entrepreneur, we called it modern entrepreneur. What do you feel like it means to be a modern entrepreneur?
So I think the thing about modern is there's a difference between modern and fashion. So I think fashion, like when you think about, like, the clothes industry, you've got, the runways, and then you've got all of the designers, and then you've got, what actually most people happen of, like, Target and Walmart and Macy's, and okay, these retailers probably hate to throw them in the same category, but you've got modern. So it's not about being old-fashioned. It's not about throwing out what works, but it's about creating something that is classic and sustainable and reflects the current technology, but isn't chasing shiny objects. So fashion comes and goes, but like, if you look at something that's modern and you apply that to the entrepreneurial world, it should be somebody who while they're grounded in whatever their expertise is or their businesses where they're providing value, they also should be learning, embracing, understanding what's digital, and whether they choose to do it or not, make that choice from a place of knowledge and not just chasing shiny objects, or it's what the neighbor is doing, or it's what my competitor is doing. It's having that kind of judgment to be able to say, hey, I think this could do really good for my business.
So you're talking about being grounded in the sort of traditions of messaging, traditions of communicating with people, but also and having a healthy skepticism for technology, but also being ready to say, for example, that email is going to disappear, and that Facebook.
That's controversial.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being
Great.
here. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Will you sign our wall in hell?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we have an international team, so many different backgrounds, so many different experiences. I mean, I have people who've never even worked in design. Our head of customer success was an AP high school history teacher.
Yeah.
So we have this like mishmash, but everyone's committed and we're guided by those mission, vision, values to put those out there.